Success is walking from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. Hello, namaste. My name is Akriti Verma and I am an entrepreneur, founder and director of Renaissance Industries Private Limited. I come from a middle class family where even the farthest ancestors that I know from my clan did not dare to venture out in business. Before I start, let me ask you a question. How many of you want to be an industrialist or have met somebody who have told you that I want to be an industrialist? Raise your hand. Okay, that's a few number. But particularly if I see the amount of people over here, that's still very less. Recently, I went to buy a car and I was surprised that they told me that the car has a waiting of 1 year. And the reason that I asked them, what's the reason that there is such huge amount of waiting? They told me that they have issue of semiconductor. That semiconductor is not coming from different country to India. It's not getting imported. And that time, one thing that struck me was that we are really lacking behind in the manufacturing sector. We really need to work upon our manufacturing sector. We talk about things like every day we talk about like petrol getting expensive, clothes getting expensive, shoes getting expensive. But are we working on the faults that we are having? We don't. Do we think of having futuristic approach? Do we think of having factories of ethanol, factories of EV? Very few people dare to think about all these things. You will be surprised to know that only 1% of the Indian people want to open a manufacturing setup. Not many want to come in this line. Like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but very few people want to have industries. And even like 0.1%, less than 0.1% of them are women. And that's a very surprising figure, sadly, of course. So I'll be talking about my life journey. My life journey has been full of ups and downs, a lot of challenges. And I'm talking about how I overcame all of them to become a business leader, to become who I am today, and to stand and give a speech at TEDx. So the first obstacle that I faced in my life was when I had to convince my parents to allow me to go abroad and pursue my MBA. That was the biggest fight that I have to fight with them. Why did I wanted to go abroad and study? Because I wanted to exchange a lot of values with students of other countries. I wanted to learn a lot of things. After all, what is one quality of a leader? He or she is open to learnings from all people. They are good listeners. They try to inculcate whatever they can from other people in a good manner. So I went to Singapore. I pursued my MBA. I got a job in Singapore. But I always wanted to be an industrialist. So these are my Singapore pictures, and I wanted to be an industrialist. And when I completed my MBA back then, I got a good job over there in Singapore. But I wanted to come back to my home state. I belong from Bihar, by the way, the land of stupas, monasteries, lot of God have gotten enlightenment over there, and I was also one of the person who got enlightenment over there, of course. So I wanted to come to Bihar and work over there. The reason being, first of all, it was my home state. Secondly, there was a lot of opportunity that I see over there. A lot of young people of our country that we see. Bihar has the most number of youth people of our country. And the only thing was that their talent was needed to be tapped. So that was one thing. And one lesson that a leader should always know is that where there is gap, there is opportunity. And I used to see that opportunity in Bihar. One more thing was always there, that I hardly have come across any women who wants to work in the field of cement, steel, sugar mills, all these traditional industries. Women tend to move across cosmetic fields, food industry, and all of that, but hardly any women, like I have personally not come across any women like that, who want to be, start a factory of their own into cement and steels and all that thing. And this was an opportunity for me. So in 2015, I dared to start a factory in Bihar. And that was my first failure, by the way. Like one of my licenses got rejected over there. But there were only two options with me. I still haven't left my job in Singapore. I had to go and continue with my job. I could have quit very easily. That was the first failure that I faced in my business career, my business dreams. But who is a leader again? Who keeps on trying instead of crying? So I kept with my job, saved a good amount of money, again decided to come back to the same place in Bihar and open a factory. This time with a lot of experience, this time with a lot of money that I had, and this time with lot more courage. So again in 2018, I came back and I put my factory over there. Every day was a learning for me. 2018 went well, I was learning a lot of things. 2019, something happened which actually shook me and my family. My mother, she passed away in 2019. And that was the time that I realized that I was slipping into depression. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't go to work. I will switch off my phone. I continuously actually switched off my phone for 3 months. I wouldn't talk to anyone, meet anybody. But that day I realized after 3 months that, I am the eldest sibling of my family. And I realized one thing, that God makes you elder for one reason, because God has given you a lot of strength to bear that. And that day I decided that no more crying, I need to get back to work because a lot of people were dependent upon me. Then came 2020 and 2021, the worst years for human mankind, right? For the business owners, that was the worst years that we had. So in 2021, our business was new. We did not generate a lot of revenue, of course. A lot of my workers were dependent on me, and I had to pay them salaries from my own savings. Now, what was another lesson that I learned here? The lesson that I learned over here was, you have to be an inspiration, or else you will be the reason for your team expiration. If I would not have inspired my team at that point of time, my whole, the struggle of so many years would have gone in vain. So I had to inspire them in a good manner. I had to make them trust me and my business career, so that if I wanted a growth in a longer period of time. But then came again 2022, and everything began to become normal. Everything is normal. The business became good. Everything was good. So here, I would like to tell you, a leader is somebody who has a broader vision, not for just for himself or herself. He thinks about a country as a whole. My larger motto in life is to make India come on the manufacturing hub of the globe. We do not have to be dependent. After having so much of population and resources, we do not need to be dependent on different countries for import things. We are self-sufficient to produce things and give the products at a much cheaper price. We can do that by ourselves. We don't have to be dependent on any other country for that. So at the end, I would like to say, life of a leader is just like an ECG machine. There will be ups, there will be downs, there will be a challenge. But that only decides that we are living, right? So at the end, I would like to conclude, a leader is someone who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Thank you. Namaste.